Everybody, Dr. Bryan Wills coming to you live from Wills Chiropractic this Wednesday evening. Hope you guys had a great day. We're going to kind of continue our conversation about stress this entire month. So a few weeks ago, I started out with the physical stress, which a lot of that obviously was poor posture. We talked about some tummy time to kind of help with that, especially with the kiddos. Last week, we talked about the chemical stress, which is all the junk that we put into our bodies that kind of causes damage. And then we talked about how much water you should drink. This week we're going to talk about the third type of stress. There's only three types of stress that you'll ever run into your life. There's physical, chemical, and the last one's going to be emotional. Now, I talk a lot about stress to a lot of outside groups and do a lot of lectures about this, and every time I talk about emotional stress being kind of the most prevalent one and the most damaging one, I kind of get two responses from the people in the audience. Typically, all the women look around at each other and go, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, emotional stress. And all the dudes in the audience are looking at each other like going, I don't know what this guy's talking about, emotional stress. But emotional stress is the most damaging and the most dangerous. And the reason that it's the most damaging and dangerous is because, you know, I can exercise, I can sit up straighter, I can eat better food and drink more water, but I can't stop thinking. So every single day we've got different pressures on us. You've got job pressures or bill pressures. Now it's tax time. You got kids having issues. You know, there's always something on you, all right? And your body has a really hard time telling the difference between a physical, chemical, or emotional stress. Now, people always ask me, well, Doc, how can something I think about affect me physically? Well, let's do a little experiment here. So let's all pretend for a moment that we're driving to work tomorrow morning and we're a little bit late, okay? A little late start there. So obviously we're gonna hit the gas a little bit and drive a little faster, probably than we should. And all of a sudden you look back in the rearview mirror and you see little blue and red lights flashing behind you. What does your stomach feel like almost immediately? You know, it knots right up, right? Some people start to maybe tear up a little bit, your muscles get tense. You don't even know if you're getting pulled over or not. It's just an emotional stimulus causing a physical response. Now imagine sitting at your desk all day long thinking about your job and your kids and your husband and, you know, the bills you got to pay and tax and all those things. It's the same exact thing. Your body is just keyed up all the time. So the emotional stress really is the one that we deal with all the time and the one that causes most of the damage. Now the problem is, way back in the day, we never had to really deal with emotional stress. So, you know, you'd fall down and hurt yourself, and, you know, that was the end of the stress. It never kind of continued on. But in today's day and age, we have these little guys, and they cause us more stress than anything because we're constantly connected. We're connected to the news, connected to the internet. Our jobs are always there. I mean, with emails now, you can work 24 hours a day. And, you know, being a boss, I have to fight the urge to send an email at 9 o'clock at night to my employees saying, hey, don't forget to do this tomorrow. You know, it's cutting in on their time. You know, so we need to be more mindful about putting the phones away, getting away from some of the stressful things. So now that I've kind of depressed you about how much stress you're actually under, and you're probably thinking about, yeah, I do that all day long, you know, what do we do to combat it? Okay, we talked about the tummy time before. We talked about the water stuff with some of the chemical stress there. With emotional stress, the best way to kind of deal with that, since it's never going to go away, the best way to deal with it is through meditation. Now, I know what you're thinking. Every time I say meditation in a lecture that I give, people automatically think of, you know, some bald guy in orange robes kind of chanting, okay? And that's not really what meditation is. Meditation is just an act of focusing kind of on your breathing, focusing inward, and just kind of turning your brain off to all the outside noise, okay? Now, there's a million different ways to meditate. I find the easiest way to do it is through guided meditation. So we kind of talked about cell phones being kind of one of the biggest causes of our emotional stress. It also can be the biggest solution to it as well. There are a million different free apps, on most smartphones for meditation. And it doesn't matter which one you choose to do. Basically, all you have to do is find yourself in a quiet place. It can be as little as 2 minutes. It can be as long as 20 minutes. You know, whatever you have time for. Hit play on there and just close your eyes and follow the guided meditation. Some people meditate. They don't do the guided ones. They meditate to like music or things like that. But the key is to turn your brain completely off. Now, if you're like me, my brain goes 1,000 miles an hour. So to meditate is very, very difficult for me. All right. But over the time, you get better and better and better at it. So I think the first time I meditated, I think I was I closed my eyes, and 2 seconds later, a thought popped in my head. So I kind of let that thought go, and then another thought pops in. And most of us have no real control over our minds, and that's why this emotional stress is so bad. But once you learn to get a little bit more control over it, you go further and further longer along without having these things pop into your head. So, we can't fight the emotional stress. We know it's always going to be there. Technology's not going to go away. It's just not going to. It's probably only going to get worse, okay? And the news isn't going to get any happier. It's probably only going to get worse because happy news doesn't sell ratings. The fear-mongering and, all the bad stuff in the world, that's what sells advertising and sells ratings there. So we got to start meditating, okay? Again, I don't care how you do it or for how long you do it, but you need to add that in as part of your routine. And again, it can be as little as a minute, 2 minutes. It can be as much as 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want to do. So we've talked about the 3 types of stress. Next week, what I'm going to talk to you about is kind of what that stress does to your body. Because most people really aren't motivated to do anything or make any changes in their lifestyle until they figure out kind of how this is damaging my body. So again, the physical, chemical, and emotional stresses are the only 3 stresses that we're ever going to see in our lives. And I kind of gave you some tips on how to combat each one of those. Again, they aren't going to go away. You can't avoid stress. It's always going to be there. All we can do is kind of gear our bodies up to be able to cope or be able to deal with more stress. Next week, we're going to go over how your body's affected by that and give you a few more tips on how you can kind of strengthen your body up to resist most of the stress that you have. So hope you guys are finding these effective and informational there. Again, if you have any comments or questions, please comment below, and we'll make sure we answer them in future videos that we have here. But you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.